Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another Access 72 video, and in today's video I'm back with another interview, and I'm here with Bradley Cousins. Bradley, how are we?
Yeah, good, thank you. Great to be here with yourself and having an interview.
Yes, it is a pleasure, mate. Thank you very much for coming on the channel.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
And so am I right in saying you're a 27-year-old light heavyweight who's 4-1?
That's right, yeah. So unfortunately I took a loss earlier on in the year, but I've seen it more as a learning curve and bounced straight back 4 weeks later with a nice win. So
Definitely, we'll touch more on that a little bit further on. But if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like the video, and let's get straight into it. So the question which I always like to start off with: why did you start boxing?
I've been boxing since I was 14. First went into a boxing ring because I weren't very confident. I'd quit football, quit all the other sports, and I'd put on a lot of weight. So my mum and dad sort of wanted to find something that suited me, and boxing were it. I walked into a gym at 14, and no matter who you are, background, ethnicity, whatever it might be, you're welcome in a boxing gym. Everyone is exactly the same, and it was the feeling of being part of something. So 14-year-old, and the rest is history.
That's great, and it's great that you said that as well, because the fact of just to kind of show the inclusion of boxing as a sport as a whole.
Exactly, and it's become even more obviously. When I was younger, you started to see the first females in the gym, because it did used to be a bit on the other side where it was more a male-dominant sport, but now you're starting to see good females come through, and it's nice to see that as well.
Definitely. And so to carry on with the amateur side of things, do you remember what happened in your first amateur fight?
I actually got beat in my first amateur fight. A kid from Barnsley, but I ended up fighting him again in my third fight. So I had 2 losses to start my amateur career, and then I boxed the kid who I boxed first again. We got fight of the night, and I actually came back with a victory, so it was nice to avenge the loss, and we got fight of the night as well, which were a nice bonus to it.
Definitely. And so throughout your whole amateur period, what was your biggest achievement?
I didn't really do much in the amateurs, if I'm honest with you. It was sort of broken up by uni. I went to uni, did what most people do, and found a bit of the social side of things. So I stopped boxing a lot through that. Looking back now, do I wish I'd have changed it? Yes and no, because I gained a lot of life skills, and now I'm ready to put 100% towards boxing.
Definitely. And so why did you end up turning professional when you did?
Bit of a crazy story, probably not like many. I had probably 4 to 5 years out of the sport completely, where I didn't box at all, and then I got a serious job, put a lot of weight on at the start of lockdown. I was 19 stone. Decided I wanted to get fit again. Never thought about boxing, just wanted to get fit. Lost about 4.5 stone. Started doing one-to-ones with my old coach, Jimmy, and he said, "Do you fancy giving it a go again?" And it's been a bit of a mad 2 years. Gone from 19 stone to professional light heavyweight boxer, but I think things happen for a reason, and obviously I'm here now and I'm ready to kick on with my career.
Definitely, that's a great story to see that. I mean, 2 times around you kind of did boxing as just a way to kind of gain fitness, and both them times it kind of led to you pursuing it more.
Exactly, yeah, and I think it happened at the right time. If I'd have turned over at 2022, I probably weren't mature enough. I wouldn't have understood the game. And now I'm ready to, like I say, now I'm ready to give it 100%. I've had my life, I've done the life partying and whatever it might be, and now I'm ready to give 100% to boxing.
That is great, and that is of course a very important thing. You have to always give 100% to boxing. You can't like half-ass boxing. You have to always give 100% for it.
Yeah, and I found that out the hard way when I was at uni and I was trying to box and do the lifestyle as well, and I got beat. I got fights I shouldn't have even probably had, but at least I've learnt them lessons now, and like I say, life's about learning, boxing's about learning, and we're here now, and we're hopefully doing big things.
Definitely. And so far you've had the 5 professional fights, and so out of them 5, which one would you say you've performed your best in?
The last fight is 100% my best performance. Everything just clicked. I think a lot of people worried under the big lights. Where this was my first big show, it was an arena show, and most people crumble, but I sort of just relished in the moment. My ring walk, everything, I just absolutely loved it, and everything sort of clicked in on the night as well. So, yeah, 100% my best performance.
That's great, and I mean, of course, that was a kind of bounce back from your first defeat, which you spoke about. You learnt lessons from that. What lessons did you learn from that?
There's a lot I learned, and I think a lot of people could, again, use that and say, actually, no, it's not for me, and give up at the first hurdle. But I think them tough rounds, I got through the fight. A lot of people could have give up a lot earlier in that fight because it were a tough 4 rounds. But I got through it, so that's one lesson, is that I can get through them deep waters. Next time I've just got to perform better, and also just to pace myself and dictate the fight myself more. I let the opponent dictate the fight and dictate the pace, and that's what cost me in the end.
That's of course, that sounds like a kind of a normal thing to happen, but it's glad to see that you did manage to bounce back.
Yeah, that's it. Like I say, I've had that loss early on now, so there's no pressure on my shoulders of the hours it is, and I think that does stand me in better stead than a lot of people. In the end of the day, I've gone through that moments of adversity and I've bounced back, so it's just about keeping that up now and keep doing what I wasn't doing that previous fight.
Definitely. And so you spoke about like how people might have stopped boxing after suffering that defeat, but what would you say kind of like kept you motivated or keeps you motivated as a whole?
I've got good people around me, and I think my biggest fear of losing were people were going to say, "Oh, right, you're not winning anymore. We're not bothered." But actually, it was the opposite. People were like, "Brad, you fought well. You were unlucky. Come on, pick yourself back up." And I've got a good support team around me. So, and I think that's important to anyone coming into boxing or coming into any sport, is build that good team around you, because they'll help you through the hard times and the good times as well.
Definitely. And so you've just fought not too long ago now, and so when do you think you'll be back fighting again?
We're looking at a date back end of February, so I've had a couple of weeks off, just being abroad. Obviously, my downtime because I had 2 fights close together, and then we're looking for a really busy 2023. I'm looking to get 5 to 6 fights in next year, starting with one in back end of February.
That's great. And so for anybody who's watching this and might not have seen you fight before, what would you say makes you interesting as a fighter?
I think I've got a bit of everything, if I'm honest with you. I've always been a character. In and out of boxing, I'll always be that character. Like my ring walk last time, even the commentator said his ring walk were amazing. I was singing down camera and everything, really relished it. But in terms of in the ring, I've got a good jab. I keep it long, but I'm also not afraid to get in and get dirty if I need to, bite down on gum shield whenever I have to. And the 2 fights that have been my closest have probably been me being too brave and not fighting the long fight and trying to make it too entertaining for the crowd. So come and watch me and you'll definitely be entertained.
That's great, and I'm sure that is something that, I mean, majority of fans, of course, will want to see that.
Exactly. I think my 2 hardest performances, where I could have made it easier for myself, everyone enjoyed the most because I was stood there trading where I should have probably kept it long and kept him at distance.
Fair enough. But so yeah, you said that next year is going to be a busy year for you. So do you think maybe by the end of that year you might be looking more towards like titles?
So the plan's 2 more 4-rounders early next year. Obviously, with that loss, we wanted to get a couple more in. And then we're going to look to move up to 6-rounders, and then hopefully back end of next year, early 2024, we'll be looking at least a central area and take it from there.
That's great. And so how far do you believe you can go in the sport?
I believe I'm definitely capable of challenging for an English title and hopefully going on to win it, but the sky's the limit. I think you'll have seen throughout my fights, I have progressed quite quick, and I'm getting better each fight, and if I can't continue to do that, then there's no end to where it can end up. It's just about listening to my coach, listening to my manager, and doing things right. In end of the day, I've not got a glittering amateur background, so it's the hard way. I'm going to have to go to the small hall shows, take my opportunities when I can, and then we'll go from there. In end of the day, I'm not afraid to fight anyone. I'm not afraid to get beat. I'm not afraid to learn lessons, but we go out there and we do our best and see where it takes us.
Definitely, that's great. Okay, and so I'll leave it with this final question, which I always like to ask. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
Just all my sponsors, every sponsor that backs me, all my fans. I'm lucky to take 150 to 200 fans wherever I go. And that's what it's about. Small old fighters, and people don't understand that we don't get paid unless we sell tickets. There was a girl on Twitter the other day that nearly had to pull her debut because she'd not sold enough tickets. Wow. We understand it's an hard climate, and we're sorry if we blag you every 2 minutes to buy tickets, but we've got to. That's what we're going to do to box. I'm lucky at this stage to have quite a lot of sponsors. So I've got Fallgate Engineering, Fresh Prince. I've got Elite Step, who do my strength and conditioning. Jack Cope Nutrition, who does all my nutrition. Obviously Freedom Boxing, Jimmy and my coaches there. DNEL Limited, who do, they're a logistics company. They back all the gym. Empire Pro Tape, who back me as one of their fighters. And the list is endless. Listen, everyone who sponsors any fighters, thank you, because it means the world to us and it helps us do what we love doing.
Definitely, and it's good to see that you're not afraid to be vocal about like that kind of side of things. Certain people might not want to speak too much about that, but it's good to see that you are kind of speaking out for that, for the small hall fighters. Yeah,
it's an hard game. There's a lot of good fighters out there that don't get to where they should just because they can't sell tickets, which in my opinion is wrong, but it's a business in the end of the day. I'm lucky I've got good fans, but I've seen people struggle to sell tickets who are probably at the moment higher fighters than I am, but because they haven't sold tickets, they're going to have to go on the road and fight in the away corner, which is an even harder route. So anyone who's got friends who box, if we ask you and you can afford, please come watch, because it does mean the world to us, and it means we get a chance of doing what we love, and hopefully get somewhere where we can repay you in the future.
Definitely. Okay, so thank you very much for doing this interview, mate.
Thank you for your time.
And maybe a little bit further along down the line we can come back and do a return interview.
Hopefully catch up once I've got that title and take it from there.
Definitely. Great. Okay, well, if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do indeed like the video, and thanks for watching.